hands where I can see them. The voice sliced through the summer afternoon, shrill and unsteady, shattering the calm. The garden hose slipped from my fingers, hitting the grass with a dull thud. My heart pounded as I turned to see a stranger in my yard, his trembling hand clutching a black pistol aimed at my daughter, Lily. Tom stopped. He wore a cheap tactical vest, a poorly stitched patch reading HOA Enforcement Unit flapping on his chest. On any other day, I'd have laughed him off my property, but not now, not with that gun shaking in his grip, pointed at my girl. A steady hand signals control. A trembling one betrays a terrified man playing a dangerous part, and that's the worst kind. Panic screamed in my head, every fatherly instinct to run, to shield, to fight, paralyzed by that quivering barrel. One wrong move could end us. But Lily? She wasn't shaking. She stood poised, weight on the balls of her feet, shoulders squared, her eye those same eyes that sparkled at birthday candle now locked on the gunman with a chilling, razor-sharp focus. She wasn't looking at the weapon but through the man, calculating, dissecting. No fear, just cold, diamond-hard determination. A few feet away, under the sprawling oak, another man watched, his smirk cold and calculated. He was the puppet master of this nightmare, but my eyes stayed on Lily, her eerie calm radiating a power that sent shivers down my spine. In that moment, a terrifying truth hit me. The man with the gun wasn't the most dangerous person here. My daughter, utterly unafraid, was. As a father, I didn't know whether to feel relieved or horrified. No parenting guide prepares you for the moment you realize your daughter, the girl you taught to ride a bike, is sizing up an armed intruder like a math problem she's about to solve. Part of me swelled with awe, the rest screamed in terror. My gaze shifted to the men who'd brought this hell to my doorstep. The gunman, jittery and bulky, was clearly the muscle, his eyes flicking nervously between Lily and his partner. The real threat stood by the gate, relaxed, in polished loafers that clashed with the thuggish scene. His smile was smooth, predatory, like a shark circling prey. "Thomas," he said, my name rolling off his tongue like we were old buddies. "We've got a little issue. A violation of Westridge HOA Bylaw 7, Section Private Combat Training causing a disturbance." His tone was so calm, so detached from the gun's reality, it made the situation surreal. "A disturbance?" I forced out, my voice rough. "There's no disturbance. Get off my property before I call the police." His smile didn't waver. "No need for that, Thomas. We handle things internally to keep the community peaceful. I'm Victor. This is Carl." The gunman, Carl, grunted. "She was yelling, making noise," he said. "I wasn't," Lily cut in, her voice sharp as a blade, no hint of fear or pleading, just fact. She took a subtle step forward, eyes locked on Victor, dismissing Carl's gun like it was irrelevant. "You cited a bylaw. Show me your ID and the official complaint filed against this address." It was a masterstroke, pulling them from intimidation into the realm of rules and paperwork, where they were out of their depth. Victor's eyes flickered with irritation, but Carl snapped, "Don't get smart." Victor raised a hand, silencing him. "A reasonable request, Carl," he said, his voice smooth but cold. To Lily, he added, "You're sharp. Most people just comply out of fear." "I'm not most people," she replied, her words a quiet thunderclap. My mind raced. They weren't cops, their uniforms were a sham, their patrol, a farce. This was a shakedown, maybe a robbery. But I was wrong, it was worse. Victor stepped closer, his smile darkening. "This isn't about the HOA, Thomas. This is about the past. It never stays buried, does it?" My blood froze. The past? I racked my brain, old business deals, disgruntled colleagues, nothing fit. "You really don't remember," Victor said, mock pity in his voice. "You've lived your perfect life, raising your daughter, sleeping soundly, while my family suffered. Let me jog your memory. Think back to a man named Robert Klein." The name hit like a freight train. Robert Klein. I hadn't thought of him in over 25 years. Suddenly, I wasn't in my sunny California backyard, but in a grimy Michigan factory, the air heavy with oil and metal. I was a young engineer, full of ideals, working on brake components for trucks. I'd found a flaw, a hairline crack in the alloy, a cheap substitute to cut costs. Under stress, it could fail, not always, but sometimes. I showed my data to Klein, the shift supervisor, a brash man known for shortcuts. He laughed, told me to bury it, threatened my job. I was torn. Lily was a toddler. We had a mortgage, but I couldn't sleep knowing a truck could fail, killing a family. So I went over his head, blew the whistle. The investigation exposed Klein's falsified orders. The company lost the contract but saved its reputation. Klein lost everything: job, pension, freedom. Charged with endangerment, he served time and vanished. A ghost from my past. I stared at Victor, seeing it now, the eyes, the jawline. He was Klein's son. The backyard wasn't just a yard anymore. It was a grave I dug decades ago, and its ghost was here, smiling. Dread replaced panic, heavy as stone. This wasn't a robbery, it was vengeance. Now you remember, Victor whispered, his smile gone, replaced by raw hatred. Now we can begin. He nodded toward the house. Inside, both of you. The patrol's done. The words were soft but final, like a gavel's fall. The walk inside felt like wading through quicksand. My home, filled with memories of Lily's laughter and my late wife's warmth, was now a prison. The floral scent of the entryway, Lily's baby photos, my favorite armchair, all props in a nightmare. Carl shoved me forward, the oak door clicking shut like a vault. Sit, Victor ordered, taking Carl's gun and pointing to the sofa. I obeyed, legs numb. Carl pressed his pistol to my temple, the cold metal biting my skin, his grip tight on my shoulder. I was leverage, a chain around Lily's neck. Her strength, her FBI training, was useless with my life as the bargaining chip. Despair drowned me. Victor paced, trailing a finger over my books, picking up a photo of my wife, Sarah, studying it before setting it down gently, a chilling act. You had a good life, didn't you, Thomas? He murmured. A nice home, a stellar career, a perfect daughter. Everything my father lost because of you. He leaned in, eyes blazing. Do you know what it was like after you ruined him? My mother scrubbed floors to feed us. I was the convict's kid. We lost our home, our lives. My father wasn't evil, just a proud man who made a mistake. But you, with your perfect morals, had to destroy him to feel righteous. His words cut deep, unearthing buried guilt. Had I been wrong? Had my principles crushed a family? Victor savored my doubt. He died 5 years ago, a broken man, fixing slums. He made me promise to make you feel his pain, to lose what he lost. His gaze shifted to Lily. Your daughter, the FBI star, the symbol of everything we could have had. She's the perfect thing to take from you. Silence choked the room. I glanced at Lily, her face unreadable. My mind flashed back 15 years to this same room, Lily at 13, crying over algebra at the coffee table. I'd guided her through, step by step, until her face lit up with understanding. Now, that same fierce resolve was in her eyes, aimed at Victor. Then, her posture shifted, shoulders slumping, breath shallow, eyes softening into fear. My heart sank. Had he broken her? But it was a performance. Victor was driven by ego and revenge. Logic wouldn't sway him, but emotion would. She was scanning the room, the TV's reflection showing Carl's grip, a frayed lamp cord, a heavy vase on the mantel. She needed 2 seconds, and she knew how to get them. Please, she said, voice trembling, a scared girl's plea. You've won. Just tell us what you want. Victor smirked, satisfied. I want your father to feel my father's helplessness. Money can't buy that, Lily said, stepping closer. But it can buy you a new life. Isn't that what you want? A clean slate. Victor's eyes narrowed. What are you talking about? Money, she whispered. From my mom's insurance, investments. Over $100,000 in a safe downtown. It needs a key, here, and my biometric scan. You could be in Mexico by tomorrow. I stared, stunned. Sarah's insurance was in a trust, not cash, and we had no safe. Was she stalling, spinning a wild lie to buy time? Carl growled, she's lying. Is she? Victor said, greed glinting in his eyes. Where's this safe? A deposit facility downtown, Lily said. I'll take you. You get it all. Silence hung heavy. Victor weighed his revenge against $100,000. Greed won. No tricks, he snapped. Leo, stay on him. If she moves wrong, you know what to do. Carl's gun pressed harder, but his focus shifted to Lily, distracted by the money. Lily nodded, her fear convincing, and walked toward the staircase, steps slow and deliberate. My heart screamed, don't go. It's a dead end. But she was measuring distance, angles, timing. Victor followed, gun raised. Carl's grip on me loosened slightly, eyes on Lily. They were halfway across the room, her hand nearing the stair post. I braced for the lie to collapse, for gunfire. Then she moved. In a heartbeat, Lily pivoted, her body a coiled spring. Her legs snapped out, not at Victor, but at a metal floor lamp by the entertainment center. A deafening crack echoed as her kick sent it crashing into the water dispenser. 5 gallons exploded across the floor, flooding the power strip. A blinding blue-white flash erupted, followed by a firecracker pop. The lights died, plunging us into darkness. Carl screamed, his grip faltering. The gun left my temple. Adrenaline surged. I'm 60, no fighter, but a father. With a primal roar, I slammed into Carl, knocking him off balance. We crashed into the coffee table, pain searing my side, but his gun skittered away into the dark. Across the room, sharper sounds cut through grunts, a thwack of flesh, a vase shattering, a choked gasp, a wet crack like a joint snapping. 5 seconds later, a heavy thud, Victor's body hitting the floor, lifeless. Silence followed, broken only by my gasping breaths. Emergency lights flickered on, casting a ghostly glow. Carl groaned nearby, struggling to rise. Lily stood over Victor's motionless form, breathing evenly, in control. She kicked Carl's gun under the piano, zip-tied his hands, then knelt beside me. "Dad, are you okay?" she asked, her voice soft, all business gone. I touched her arm, grounding myself in her strength, unable to speak. Sirens wailed, growing louder. Red and blue lights danced across the walls. The door burst open. Police stormed in, shouting, "Hands up!" Lily stood, palms open. "The suspects are down, unarmed. We're the residents, the victims." Officers surveyed the chaos. "Do men down." The wrecked room, Lily's calm command. Our neighbor, Mrs. Ellis, peered in, whispering she'd called 911 after hearing a crash. Paramedics fussed over me. I refused the hospital. My statement was a frantic mess, but Lily's was precise, clinical, detailing the impersonation, threats, and takedown. The detective listened, awestruck, shaking his head as Victor and Carl were hauled away. The house fell silent, a heavy quiet amid the wreckage, water-soaked floors, shattered glass, the toppled lamp. Lily turned on the heat, chasing the chill. "I'll check the breaker," she said. "Wait till morning," I croaked, sinking into my armchair. She sat on the ottoman, legs tucked under, like when she was little. "That's safe story," I said. "I thought you'd lost it." She smiled faintly. "He was driven by revenge, a story. I gave him a better one." Greed. I shook my head. "That look, like when you cracked algebra at 13, right here. Pure focus. Algebra's easier," she said. "Just solve for x." "And tonight?" I asked. Her eyes met mine, steady, humbling. "I was solving for you, Dad." Tears broke through. I wept for the terror, the violation, but mostly for pride in the woman she'd become. Dawn crept in, illuminating the damage. A house can be fixed, but some moments reshape your life. I'd thought being a father meant shielding Lily, building a fortress. But the fortress was her quiet, disciplined strength that outsmarted a vengeful ghost. I'm no hero, just a father who raised a woman who faced chaos unflinching, reclaiming our home. That strength will never break. Have you faced a past that came back with a vengeance? Share below. I'd love to know I'm not alone.